So, okay, good morning, all. So today I'm going to present about presentation about reactive programming with Reactor. I'm using Reactor. So this is some comic I recently found about functional reactive programming. It's like I'm here, not with a girl. So you can actually ask question, but I can answer amount to knowledge that I have now. So on here, I'm going to talk about, give you first idea and then a brief intro why this reactive program is created, then some reactive stream spec, model of the reactive stream, and then the operators available in the reactive programming or reactor, and then hot and cold publishers, and then how we can do threading and schedule and use schedulers to change context, and how we handle errors, and finally how do we test this reactive stream. In this presentation I'm not going to talk about back pressure handling and context passing through the chain. So in first idea I want to give about this synchronous asynchronous thing. So we can say synchronous and asynchronous is type of operation and way of programming things, and blocking and non-blocking as organized in how the code is organized. So we can have synchronous asynchronous programming with blocking or non-blocking IO, input or output. So in synchronous, normally we are using synchronous blocking IO. So we are wait for block method and return. So in non-blocking synchronous model, we call the non-blocking IO and synchronous thread is get back, and then once the non-blocking is done, have to do a polling method to catch the non-blocking one. So once it return, we can do. And in asynchronous blocking type model, we are creating a thread, multiple threads, and we call the relevant blocking method and return. And this is final one is asynchronous non-blocking. This is we are going to use this programming. So here we are calling the number method and we return to the thread and we do our work until non-blocking method call our main program. So here normally we are using for this programming, we are using functions on JavaScript and future and callbacks future on Java. So this is synchronous blocking. It's bad because once the main thread is executing blocking IO, the thread is doing nothing, just waiting for kernel to return the relevant data. So it is bad for normal work. And asynchronous blocking, we are creating more threads and we do all blocking operation here, and all the threads are waiting. So it's we then we wait and join the all threads and return, but it's a bit complicated with when comparing the blocking synchronous blocking method. And finally we can have asynchronous non-blocking. Here we have thing called event loop. Here one thread is running on the loop, and when there's a request we create a worker thread and give non-blocking work to do. Once it return, we can return it to the consumer. So before going to reactive, I want to give a brief about observer pattern. So reactive program is based on this observer pattern and move to reactive design pattern. So in this observer pattern, it's normally we have a subject and there are some observers. This is like, you can say subject is like music and observers are like ears. So we are normally usually create a list of observers and save all the observers in there. So once the state is changed, we call this notify all observers. So it is executing all the method, all the update method in the subject observer. So we can get the update from each observers. So this observe pattern is mainly used on event-driven system, like to send notification like that. So and reactive program, it's all about handling data stream in non-blocking manner and using small amount of thread and handling the back pressure overload. So back pressure is meaning like, so there's a producer and a consumer. The producer can produce data at a rate, but consumer can't consume those data at that relevant rate. So we have to uh, we have should have a mechanism to control that. So it's that called back pressure handling. Uh, I will give a brief intro about reactive programming. So it says that it's originated from 1970s earlier. Uh, then this reactive modeling program model is first developed by Netflix for their internal work using Microsoft reactive extension. So they developed the RX model, and Netflix, Twitter, and Red Hat and Spimo Corporation got established an organization called Reactive Stream. Then they declared a common model called the Reactive Manifesto. So as I said, reactive programming is about handling stream of data and handling data, and then we can change the behavior of data and give the output. So with using reactive programming, we can achieve high performance, concurrency, and as we use asynchronous operation with non-blocking IO. When we talk about use cases, external service calls, so I think we have to call some separate services in our work. So we have to call one service and wait and then get the result. Like say we have to more than 10 services, so we have to wait for all the 10 call by one to call them and return. So with this reactive approach, we can call all the 10 service once and then we can return to our anytime. And next use case is high concurrency message consume, like we can handle so many event message data with this asynchronous model because we are using non-blocking. And when we're talking about libraries, they are Reactive Stream, RxJava, Akka framework, and Reactor. So Reactive Stream is like first generation one. So here uh, we have defined basic models for reactive programming like publisher and subscriber. Uh, then we have RxJava developed by Netflix. First it called a Netflix RxJava, then they rename it as Reactive RxJava. It's like second gen uh, library. Here we have observers, everything. And this Akka framework, it's like third gen reactive programming library. So they are using Scala, or we can also use on Java languages. And finally, Reactor, it's a fourth gen library with it's open source one, just like RxJava. So I will give a small details about this reactive stream spec. Normally there are two uh, items like objects, publisher and subscriber. So publisher produce data based on event. It can produce 0 to n element, and subscriber can consume. This is like a radio and this is like a ear. So this publisher is pushing event to a consumer. So in here we have what we call processor. Here that our React or Rx Java come here. So publisher can, as I said, 0 to n elements or 0 to 1 elements. And it also, once the data meeting is complete, it can call complete, sending complete signal to consumer, so telling that this is completed. Or if there's error occurred, it will send the error to the consumer. So if there when there's a publisher, there should be a subscriber to listen the data. So one we subscribe to a publisher, we send a feedback for subscription. uh, Here we can have this back pressure thing about how how many items we are requesting to consumer. Like it's like as I shown in there, it's like a volume adjustment. So we can adjust the rate how the publisher produce the data for consumer. On publisher we have on next, on complete, on error method. So on when publisher push data, we on subscriber it's always calling on next method. So this thing till we have two elements and final one is error, so it will call on next uh, two times and then it will throw a error. If there is no error, it will call complete and this process is done. All right. Mm, there's a small comparison between available libraries Rx, Java, React, and Java 8. In Java 8, we have compatible future to return 0 and 1 element. And as I said, reactive stream, there's only publisher and subscriber. So this publisher is extend in ArcJava to observable single other things. And in Reactor, it's extend to mono and flux, this publisher interface. And RxJava, there it's uh, extend to maybe single, observer, flowable type things. So project Reactor. In this one, as I said, there are mainly two types, mono and flux. Mono object can only emit 0 or 1 element. So, and flux can emit 0 or n elements. So, in documents, you can see this type of diagram in every documentation in Reactor or RxJava, everything. So, this is, you have to understand this first. And this is the timeline of the object like mono or flux. This is these are called events emitted by the relevant type. So there can be 3 or 4 events, and this cross mean there's error occurred, then the stream is closed, and this dash strict mean the event is completed. Once that there's no data passing the after that. Okay. Uh, so mono in reactor we can use mono to emit 0 or 1 element. So this is basic diagram in their document showing the mono object. So this is timeline of the mono. It's flowing from left to right. So at that time, at one time, it start to emit one element item, and then it's complete. So there are operators, so we can adjust our mono emitted item according to our operators use. Then return to subscriber timeline. So this is result timeline. So no, there's operator, and if there are occurred, we can send the error one. Otherwise, we can emit the object to the result timeline. You can read more about mono reactor core documentation and the flux. So as I said, flux can emit 0 or n elements. It's mean 0, 1, 2 element, 3 element, or any n time of element. So this is flux timeline. It's emitting 3 elements, and after emitting 3, it's complete its timeline. After that, there is no element is emitted from this flux. So these emitted values are going to our operators we defined in our chain. So after this is subscriber timeline, so we can receive the change or something happened to items, and we have. So here finally their description shows there's a record, and this terminate the whole uh, flux timeline. So this is small sample about mono and flux. Here I'm creating a mono with hello world creating. So once I subscribe, it start emit. So once I subscribe, it start emit hello world, and it will print on standard output. And here I have created flux, and it's emit two item hello and world. So once I subscribe to it, it will print hello, and then after that next. So any questions so far? All right, hello world. So first I will show you how the mono emit. So it emit one item, it's hello world. So after that, I can show you flux how emit. It first emit hello, then on next one it emit hello word. Uh, we can go to operators. So as I previous, there are so many operators. We can categorize these into mainly into a five group: creational, transformational, combining, aggregate, and filtering. Sorry. So in once we create once we want to create a flux or mono, we have to do creation. So it can be from array or from a list or on a callable interface or type of intervals emitting. So we can use these. There are so many operators. We can use these type of operators to create flux or mono. And after that, if we want to transform our first emitted item to another type of, we can use flat map, concan map, switch map, that type of operators. And think we have to combine two flux or two flux with another mono and something. So for that we have operators called combining operators. So here we have SIP, which can combine two operators and merge like that. And if we want to do aggregate on the data emitting from our flux or mono, here we have count operator, and if we want to collect all things to a list operators. If we want to reduce, we have reduce. And also finally there we have filtering operators. So if we want to take only distinct items, emitted items, we can distinct. If we want to skip a number of uh, emitted item, we can use skip. Or if we want only one or two elements, we can use take, like that. So I'm going to talk about one operator because this can use in almost everywhere. It's flap map and map. So main difference between flap map and map is run on same timeline because it's synchronous operator. So and flat map it's asynchronous. So it run on its own timeline and return. Say we have some mono uh, timeline here. Once we call the map, it's change the object to a square and emit on the same timeline. So this happen on same timeline as the mono timeline. I mean result timeline. But in flat map, it emit the synchronous one. So here if we have get a circle, we create our own timeline inside the flat map, and we subscribe to it from our operator. After some time, it create turn circle to a square. So then it start emitting to the downstream timeline. Though if this is the result, state uh, not uh, not same time as the main previous timeline. So main difference between is that, so for map, uh, that where we can use flat map. So we can use flat map to call some asynchronous function, and we can wait till that asynchronous function is happened and transform data from previous chain to this one, like that. In map we don't, it's asynchronous, so we do that immediately. uh, so in this reactive thing, not, there's some thing we have to remember every time. Nothing happens until you subscribe. So there's nothing we create after, if we create a no flux, if there's no subscriber, there's nothing going to happen. So there are mainly two stage of uh, this chain: assembly time and subscription time. Assembly time means you can think you create a some mono just and return from the function, and here another function we are calling that and mapped into another object, like that. So here in that time we haven't subscribed to it, so it returning chain of publisher object, mono flux. This we can extend the chain according to our uh, definition, our usage. So that is called assembly time. There, as in assembly time, there's no subscription, it's just returning the chain to upper level time. And this subscription time, so subscription time happens when there's a subscribe to that chain. So once it's subscribed, it start to pass the signal from downstream to upstream, like bottom to top. So think we have created a publisher mono and we using three operation. So after I subscribe to that, it's start to pass the signal from down to top. So it start subscript signal from this one, and then go to operation and subscribe to that operation. Then next operation subscribe to it. This operation subscribe to and read the publisher. Once it's read the publisher, uh, publisher start to emit items. So we have a subscription. Its subscription signal goes from top to bottom, sorry, bottom to top. Once it reach the source publisher, it start to emit the item. So data flows happen from top to bottom. So publisher start emitting item. First item go to this operator, then this operation, and we can receive the first item. This whole process from top to bottom happens because when there's n number of item, it will happen n times, or if there's one time. Do you clear about that process?
Yeah.
Okay. So as just remember, there's assembly time. We can create publisher, attach operation, and we can return it, and we can create another attach another operation for this chain, like that. We can return and attach so many operation and create a long chain. That's happening in assembly time. And
Mm.
subscription time, once we subscribe, it signal pass from bottom to top, subscribe to all the operation in between, and once it reach the source object, it start emitting. That's happening in these two stages.
So
So
subscription time is like the runtime, right? It's a runtime.
uh, it's like both things happen in runtime.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, no, but publishing time is like you set up the data, right? And
yes,
then, I mean, assembly time. So
yes,
subscription time is when you actually start receiving the data, right? Like a
yes,
stream.
yes.
Okay.
In subscription there are two things happen: chain go upside and data flow from downward.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's some example I use. So here we have created flux train. It will emit from 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3 elements. And then I create a map operator, and sorry, map operator. Then when once element get, I multiply by 10. Then this map timeline goes with this flux timeline. Then I'm creating flat map and take the element from emitted from the map element to here. This all are consumer Java 8 consumer interfaces, and I use another map that now integer to a this is some library I used. It will uh, return a random character from Harry Potter, and this number is mapped to a now mapped to a string. Okay, the in map function it converts some object to another object. So after that I map map the after some time it start emit this element. So after that I again add the map operation and get that element item and add the quotation mark. After that I call subscription. In subscribe there are two consumers. One is normal consuming and other consumer is error consumer. So once I subscribe, this subscription goes from bottom to top. So number one will happen call. So then we go to map function and subscribe to that. Then we call flatten map operation, subscribe to that. Then go to map function, subscribe to that, and then go to source. So after receiving going to source, start emitting data. So we receive 0, 0, it will go to this map function 0 into 10 0, and we receive 0 item here. So I map that 0 item to some character on Harry Potter and return from flood map. I'm getting something, some name on Harry Potter string. I attach exclamation mark, publish. Then it return another one. Like that, it will go 3 times. Uh, you that. Mm, so you can see it's emitted. Then is some character form and added explanation, another character, and another one. So we start from 0 and emit 0 1 2 3 from this one. I will show you what will happen without this these two just numbers 0 10 20, right? So let's happen in this one. You got the example what I saying? Any questions?
Uh, yeah. So this system, I mean error. I mean you have this error handler. I mean this IO handler, right? So print and then error.
Yes.
So how does it know if there is an error? So I mean, if there's error, it's handled by the system dot error, right?
Yes.
Can you
I
explain
will
any
come
exception?
to
Or I mean,
that
is there
part
any
on
chance you? Okay, okay, okay.
error handling part. So once the error happens, all the upstream thing there's error happen in this third line.
Yeah.
All the stream got suspended. There's no more thing we error happened on the zeroth object, zeroth item.
Right.
So once the error occurred, upstream got cancelled and start another error instance from that, and then error passed to everything this call, and error is passed into normally subscriber error consumer function.
Right.
That's no once the error occurred, we can't actually recover the chain of operator chain because upstream got cancelling. instantly, and it create a new instance with this error and propagate into downstream. I will talk more about error in this thing about error handling. Okay. So hot and cold publishers. So there are mainly two type of publishers. I mean, we have Flux and Mono. This is cold publishers and hot publishers. It's like two concept on this Flux and Mono. So cold publishers are called as pull based. So normally in Reactor, Flux and Mono are lazy uh, publishers. That means without a subscription, it won't emit data. So if we have a subscription, it start to emit data. So you can see I have called publish. I create a flux. It will emit 1, 2, 3, and I create two flux from that. Mapping one, mapping uh, this one, and second one mapping this. So first flux, I'm subscribed to it. It will print with call flux. Second flux, I will subscribe to it. It will print call flux with 2. So in call publisher, it's generating new data for each subscription. So in here, I'm getting all the data from this call publisher one, and it map to this and print. In second one, we get all the data on the call publisher and map to something and print. It's like I think you have a player, music player, so you can listen to press play button and listen from start to beginning. So there's another user coming, and he also have the same player with separate play button. So once he play, he can listen from start to bottom, starting song to end song. So it's repeating for each subscription. Uh, I will show some collaboration. It's like normal one. So here we can see Colfax one emitted from this one map to map x into 5 and print. And then we subscribe to second one Colfax 2, and it will map item x into 10 and it will print. So in call publishers, we receive all the data from the source. That's the key point of this call publisher. So there should be a subscription, and if we have so many subscription, all the subscription get all the data emitting from the main source publisher. That's the key point of this call publishers. It's called pull based because subscriber pulling data from the source operator. That's why it's called pull based. Other thing we have a hot publisher. It's push based. So hot publisher is like assume you are hearing some chonpan is going on. So if you hear it that thing song, you can hear from onward. So one, if another one come and start hearing, you can start hearing from after some time. I mean, not the same data. It's data is continuing. You can hearing once you subscribe. Like hot publisher, the publisher generating data and emitting them immediately. It emit data whether they are subscription or not. So we can create a publisher or publisher from this instance. Once we create a flux and we call publish method, uh, it will start making a hot publisher. So we can subscribe to it. So after that we call to connect to call the hot publishers. So here we are sweeping thread for 500 millisecond. So after that I subscribe another subscriber. So I can show you some example. Here, flux emitting some interval data from duration of 200 milliseconds. That means 0 to some value between 200 milliseconds.
Mm-hmm.
Here you can say first subscriber got 0 value, then 1, 2. After that, I'm subscribing the second one after 500 milliseconds. So from that, he can only hear from 2 to an onward. So he received 2, both receive 3, both receive 4. So this subscriber don't get items from previously emitted, right? That's why call this push way. So source is pushing data once we don't care about the subscriber. You can read more from this link. So we can move to trading and schedulers. Any questions about that? What can call subscriptions, publishers? Okay, let's move on. So reactor is considered to be a concurrency agnostic. That means you can enforce a concurrency model or not. It's mainly this mainly run on main thread. You can assign thread to run on, or otherwise it run on normally run on same everything on the main thread. So it's upon to user to programmer to define you can to move to threading or not. So I will give some more info about concurrency and parallelism. Concurrency mean running two tasks on say overlapping one another on same timeline. And parallelism is if we have one task, we divide into two or more according to the available course and running separate these tasks on separate threads. So that's the main key difference between concurrency and parallelism. You can read more defined from this Stack Overflow answer. So threading in Reactor. Uh, Here we have what you call schedulers. It uh, define where the execution happens. It's more like a executor service on Java, but not a executor service. It's have work threads and it's have own timer inside the schedulers. So there are mainly two ways of switching execution the context on Reactor. It's publisher on method and subscriber on method. So both these method can take a scheduler and change the context. So there's one key point on this. Publisher depend on the placement on the chain, while subscriber on is doesn't. So that's the main key point of this publish and subscription. So as I said, there are schedulers to do um, work on our threading. So the scheduler determines the execution model and where the execution happens. So as I said, it's like more executor service. We have following schedulers on available on the reactor. So we have immediate scheduler.immediate. It's like empty schedule object, but it's not switching, but it executing that relevant part immediately. And we have single scheduler. It's like creating new thread and running on that thread. And we have elastic schedulers. It's normally used for long living tasks like IO thread. And main thing between elastic and bounded elastic is elastic doesn't have a limit. It will spawn so many thread according as you ask. But in bounded elastic, it will spawn only limit threads defined user defined or program defined. So it will reuse the same threads and do the work. On parallel schedulers, we use that for parallel tasking. They are for short living CPU time and short living, and it's for CPU intensive tasks. Normally, parallel have n number of threads, n n equal to available core counts on the current CPU. Mhm. So subscribe on. As I said, we have two operators, subscribe one, publish one. So in the once if we run uh, this one without this subscriber on, this whole thing happen on our main thread. So once the subscriber on done is uh, changing the subscription to another moving whole object to another thread, like moving subscription to another thread. So in here I'm creating hello and map it to world. Uh, then I'm call subscribe on. And other thing key point is subscribe on uh, doesn't we call doesn't need to define it doesn't affect the position of the chain. So we can call subscribe on any position before the subscribe actually. So it doesn't affect the chain process. So here I create a subscribe on and move the bounded elastic scheduler. There's a mapping and I subscribe to this monosub. It will print value and current thread. Because this happening on the main thread, I'm leaving main thread for 100 because otherwise main thread execute this and program exit. So we can't get the output because main thread exit, but even the separate thread is working, there will be no output. I will show that one. You can say it will print hello world and the thread name, it's running on the red bounded elastic. So I will explain how this happens. So when there's operators, uh, we have flux and operation 1, 2, and there's a subscription on operator 3, 4, and here finally we have sub. Once the subscribe code, as I said, on the subscribe stage, it will signal start to move from bottom to top. So it start from this sub goes to this one, subscribe to this operation, moves to this operator, subscribe to this operator, then moves to this subscribe one. One is find the subscribe one. It all the process subscription move to this scheduler used on this one. So if we are on main thread, start to move all the subscription from main thread to scheduler defined on this one. So it will change all the subscription to I mean orange. Then subscribe to here, go to source. Once the source is, then source can emit. So all the source emitting is happen on this we call this scheduler. So everything happen in this scheduler right now. So data flows here, data also subscribe on this thread. That's happening here. So once I subscribe, it will go to this map and subscribe to map uh, subscription, then move to subscribe on. So once it found the subscribe on, it will move all the subscription to that scheduler.bound elastic. So this system out print ln consumer will execute on scheduler.bound elastic, and this map also run on that one. That's uh, subscribe bound method. And the one is publish on. So publish in the difference is it's affect the position of the chain. So I mean, once we call publish on, operators from after the publish on change the context to defined on the this scheduler. So once it find the publish on, this map thing execute on this bounded elastic, and subtype will call on main thread, but the this consumer will call on the this bound elastic thread. So when we talk about that more, as I said, blue means main thread. So we have chain like that. Once subscribe, it will move to this signal passing from this, and it will find the publish on, but it won't affect right now. So then move to this operator, this operation, and subscribe to this. Once the subscription signal come, it start emit. So it first item go to operator one. It's happening on main thread or current thread running, and the operator two running on current thread. It found publish on, so it switch the context to a scheduler defined on that publish on. Then we'll call operator three. It will run on scheduler defined on this publish on. Operator 4, same as defined on previous publish on, and subscribe. So subscribe lambda function will execute on this thread, but the subscription is called on the current thread function call. So it will print the same like before bounded elastic, but I can add do on next, do on each. So this do on each will call every time it's emit the data and every time it's emit operator. So we take a theme, so this do on each always call in one after emitting data, and then the map is emitting data or anything. So you can see mono is emitting data hello world on main thread. So on complete, so this subscribe is also running on main current thread. So once it emitted the data hello world, it will call on complete on subscribe, which is also on main thread. But after calling publish on, it will change the context, and this only this consumer, I mean, yes, consumer will call on the thread defined on publish on. So this only this part will execute on publish on bounded elastic. So look, You can see after log on subtype is done on main thread, and subscription as I say, once a subtype happen, it will emit a signal along to up to requesting unbounded amount because it's mono. Then this hello world emit on main thread, and it will complete on main thread, but this consume execution and this map execution will happen on uh, bounded elastic. We had two boundaries. We will add